Never go with the hippie to a second location. Today on the Manspace. Welcome to the Manspace podcast. We're your hosts, Doctors Matt Brown and Rob Porter, and clinical therapist Mike Porter. Welcome, Spaceman.
Never go with a hippie?
Yeah. It's from 30 Rock. There's at some point, Princess Leia, Carrie Fisher, she's on there as like, and her character, she's used to be on like, kind of like a SNL in the early days kind of thing. Like she's an old sketch comedy writer and Liz just falls in love with her. Like, let's get back to our roots of women, taking over comedy. And she's total hippie. And Jack Donaghy is obviously, wearing a tux after 6 p.m. because he's not a farmer. And at some point, Liz follows, they're hanging out with Carrie Fisher, and then they go somewhere else to this other place, and everything goes crazy. And Liz wakes up like, I think like hungover and used all these drugs or something. I can't remember what it is. And she goes and tells Jack the story, and he goes, "Lemon, never go with the hippie to a second location." It's like these kind of things are like life lessons. I only used it because I kept thinking it as I was listening to this book when they say third location. I was like, never go with the hippie to a second location.
Oh, that's right. The third location principle.
I don't remember the third look. Oh, yeah.
The third location.
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah.
Which that reaction right there tells us a little something about how I felt about this book.
Well, it's funny because I before we we are Spacemen covering today the book. It's called The Buddy System.
Yeah.
And
sorry, you sent me down a rabbit hole of Jack Handy deep thought.
Did you get a good one?
It's so dumb. I remember laughing so hard as a teenager.
Oh, yeah.
It was, if you ever drop your keys into a river of molten lava, let them go. Because, man, they're gone.
It's kind of like reading Far Side comics, though. It's like, It's funny because it's not funny, like.
Well, it's like the scenario. When the crap are you going to drop your keys into molten lava ever? But just remember, if it ever happens.
Yeah, see, life lessons. Yeah. When am I ever going to have an opportunity to go with a hippie to a second location,
let alone a third?
You mean this thing isn't until next week? Why are you wearing a tux? It's after 6, Lemon. What am I, a farmer? Here's a clarification, by the way. Did you guys know that there is another book that's called Buddy System, Understanding Male Friendships?
Probably the better one. The better buddy system.
When you search it, that's what comes up. By Jeffrey.
If I search
Grief?
it, where?
Is he like telling us something about his friends?
Online, the Buddy System book.
Oh yeah, there it is.
But then if you scroll down further, there's one, Buddy System, a modern man's guide to mastering friendship and leveling up your something.
That's the one we're reading.
That's the one we read. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's also looks like a steamy romance novel called Buddy System, where there's a girl between two men. I'm assuming the buddy system there is sexual in nature.
Oh, there's the game changes, players stay the same. That's another one.
There's a lot of buddy system books.
Brandon Herbert.
Yeah, I'm looking at that one.
Author to Watch.
There's a Susan Sarandon.
Oh, there's the
Richard.
There's
Dreyfuss
the buddy system one.
Was that a movie? What is happening?
I'm not seeing that one.
What rabbit hole where he's sinking down?
Camp Counselors.
The other buddy system book, the one that we didn't read.
Yeah.
This is just the AI overview, but
so trust it.
Sounds like a dumb book. It says exploring types of male bonds, and then in parentheses, must, rust, trust, and just friends.
Oh boy. Well, excuse me. I will say this, like, even in this book, they did a little bit of like, you have to have some catchy thing that, it's like, you don't need to have the catchy thing, like it's okay to just say, hey, remember this. But what do I know? I'm not writing a book. Why did Mike just send a thing saying the buddy system?
Because you have to see that one.
Hold on. Well, I don't want to describe. Oh, okay. Wow. That's an odd looking cover.
what I was seeing.
This is Buddy's sister. This is Buddy's girl. This is Buddy's mother. This is Buddy's friend. Huh?
That's weird.
I like the idea. Very 60s DJ. Illustration by Charles Raymond. Congratulations, Charles. That's the only reason I know you.
That's the full illustration of never go to a second location with a hippie.
Often brutal book with tenderness. Michael. What? This is weird. Huh. I must know. I won't know. Wow, Mike, congratulations.
Thanks.
You win.
You found the winner. I think I told you guys early on in our friendship podcast journey this story. But my high school friends' brothers had this thing with their friends where I think it was once a year you tried to find the worst. I think it had to be metal CD. I think we actually played a little clip from this.
Is that the one?
Storm Witch?
Yeah.
Best falsetto ever.
I play that for my kids every once in a while, and no one in my family is impressed. I'm like, you guys, do you hear that? Do you hear where he's going with that?
The thing that I like most about it, it's totally not the note that you think he's going to hit.
I know. He just goes 8 octaves above.
Well, it's off a little bit to the left, too. I'm like, what?
What's it called? Tarred and
Feathered by Storm Witch. So if you're in your car, pull that bad boy up on Spotify and pause our podcast.
Do you remember how long it was into the?
It's the second.
It's
pre-chorus.
It's totally jazzy. Is this the one?
Yeah,
this is it.
And when you look at the picture, it's literally mystical, hairband. Let's skip into it's a minute something in.
We've done this before.
Yeah.
I thought it was after this.
No, it's the end of this. Yeah. Yeah, you're right. One more.
Hold on, everybody.
Can you hear it? Here it comes.
I want to be him. I wish that was me. I want to see them on stage.
I wish I could hit that note.
Isn't it funny? That would be metal back in the 60s and 70s and 80s was that's metal?
Yeah.
These dudes look like they just murdered somebody, and it's all but this is it's kind of jazzy and fun.
Oh man.
All right, so
buddies. Sorry,
everybody. By the way, apparently you guys got mad. It was funny watching the end of the episode when I was editing it, and Mike's I asked what are the takeaways, and Matt's I'm never good at these. Mike's yeah, thanks a lot, Rob.
We've lost the David W. energy.
Don't worry, I've got some takeaways from this one already.
Okay,
I kind of boiled it down at the beginning. You want to know what my takeaways are? I'll just spoil it. Be intentional about maintaining a relationship with other dudes. That's the biggest takeaway that we'll get to.
Yeah, my takeaway is similar. I really liked how they said be the friend, be the one.
Be the friend. Oh.
Yeah, which I didn't like the way they said it.
Right,
but the idea of
you be the one to be
the initiator, because I think too often in relationships we're I've heard a lot of people say well, I'm always the one doing whatever, and some people think well, does this person even want to hang out with me? I'm always the one initiating. I've started to think about it a lot more selfishly. I'm I don't really care if you want to hang out. I want to hang out, so I'm going to initiate. And if you don't want to, I guess you'll tell me.
Yeah, that's okay.
But I'm getting what I want out of it by just initiating and starting some things. So,
well, here's so that everybody knows, the Buddy System is a book. These are two dudes who have been friends since fourth grade,
second grade.
They're both now screenwriters or aspiring screen. I don't know. Are they actually
comedians?
One of them, I think Matt, I think the former lawyer is a screenwriter. Okay. I think the other one's done it, but I think that's where a lot of Matt's. I think the other guy is more full-time comedian and.
Yeah. Well, it was, and they have a podcast called Man of the Year that they say is the #1 friendship podcast in the world.
Maybe that means #1 amongst their friends.
In the world. Dozens of fans all over the world.
All over the world. Which we actually do. Matt and I talked about that last week. We actually do have dozens of fans all over the world.
All over the world.
400 in Australia and New Zealand.
Yeah, I read them. Did you do the Wrapped thing on Buzzsprout?
I mean, I saw the thing.
No, it was Spotify.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
We have 400 in Australia?
I'll show you the stuff afterwards. It's like, I think our audience is actually growing more on Spotify for the first time ever. It's outpacing the Apple people.
And our Europe, and I think it was Brazil that I was like, why do we have such a freakishly high amount in, maybe it was South America, but I was like, what the?
There's a lot, like it's United States, Canada, and Britain are the top.
I think we're just kind of, David Hasselhoff is big in Germany and we're big in Argentina. Just let it ride, man. I've always been a little more
chest in your next episode. Dude.
I've always been big among the South Americans. That's like
that really sad video of him laying on the floor eating the cheeseburger.
Dude, it was like the fall of the Hoff.
Yeah.
I forget that my you get so used to seeing a picture. My Facebook picture since I started has always been David Hasselhoff. Mm-hmm. I forget when I see it. Like I see, I'm like, hey, what am I? Oh, it's not me. Like I've seen pictures. I'm like, how'd they get my? Oh, it's David Hasselhoff. I like the idea that people too. Back for a hot minute, it was like everyone's like, well, you got to be careful about your social media because employment companies are going to go look up your social media. It's like they're just going to see David Hasselhoff. They're not going to take anything serious from me. I'm done for. All right, so here's the short of this book, I will say, is that there are a bunch of helpful things in here that I actually think in our Friendship Cup podcast, we've also kind of covered a lot of these same ideas. Mm-hmm. And I do appreciate, because the book is a little, they read it, the two authors read it. And I don't know what it would be like to try to write something like this and then be playful about it at the same time.
While you're reading it. Yeah.
Yeah. Like following a script and having scripted playful banter. Mm-hmm. Probably people wish that I would have more scripted playful banter. So it's not like, how are we talking about tarred and feathered now?
Because who would not want to hear that note, dude? Multiple times. I guarantee you people have skipped back.
I'll be playing it when I go get my QT today.
Oh, yeah. Also, I just want to say in advance, because they, what was I talked about your third location, and I was like, drink store. And I was like, we should start chanting the drink store. I listened to this book because I was like, okay, it's 5 hours. I listened to it on 2.5 times.
Yeah.
Which I was
2.5?
Yeah.
Jeez.
I just got going. My brain is super big. I don't know if you guys know this. Dude, I
retain 2% of everything I hear.
I mean, we're going to get into this second, but I watched this like little Instagram reel that was like, I'm going to show you how to read 900 words per minute or something like that. And it just starts, it's just showing the words in front of you, and it just goes faster and faster and faster. I couldn't make it all the way to the end. I was like, oh, I'm losing it. But it was remarkable how it's like, if you just put the thing in front of you like this, your brain, and you stop trying to read every word, your brain just processes
Picks it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like speed reading stuff is just go right down the middle.
Yeah, you go down and you just pick up the thing you're supposed to pick up.
Yeah.
Yeah. I always wanted to take one of those classes at BYU. They'd offer like just in the evening, like speed reading courses. Like, I want to do that. But I was like, that sounds like work.
ChatGPT has eliminated the need for that skill.
They'll just tell you what the book is about.
I mean, literally, have you ever plugged in like massive documents and said like, decipher this,
summarize this?
No.
It'll spit out like a super accurate summary of whatever it is.
I mean, there's a part of me, I should show you guys a photo that my friend Tim just sent me about a lesbian couple who put a picture of them into ChatGPT and said, make us look like a family. Like,
yeah.
And it assumed that the one woman was a teenage boy. And then they just created a man for the other woman and then put a little child in between them.
Wow.
It's like, so how good is chat? I don't know.
Yeah.
So let's just start with what do you think was valuable in the book?
I think that, well, I'm going to say one thing that I wish there was a little bit more of, but I get why they didn't have it, because I think they wanted to get to the nuts and bolts. Side, never mind. So I wish they would have just established a little bit more the case for male loneliness and why this is important.
That was very brief.
I feel like that's been covered a lot in a lot of different areas. So maybe they just jumped.
It sounds like they had a whole episode on it with the Surgeon General. And
they referred back to it and everything. So, but I do like how they broke it down into really actionable steps, because I think for most guys, if there's something to do and that will connect me to people, and I can go into it, with a plan, it's a much easier way to engage with it. I think that's where ironically, the rise in structured play amongst kids and everything, probably, I guess, just makes us more dependent on that. And then when you're an adult, nothing is structured like that anymore. And you can't even think through a plan of how I would get this to go, move in the direction I want to. So I feel like this was a good, especially the first third of the book, I felt like had some really good step by step, do this, and spoke to some actionable steps.
Mike, I have this. I agree. The thing that I did think it was actionable steps, which I actually really liked, and I thought, especially the be the friend thing, which the reason I said I listened at 2.5 speed is I thought, what would this sound like on 1 speed? Because even at 2.5 speed, it's like, be the friend. It's like, is 1 speed like, be the friend?
I didn't even think about that.
And
probably
those little aliens in the Toy Story claw.
Oh, yeah. the
claw.
But I did think I did wonder through the whole book, like, this does require, and I agree with them, pretty much everything they said, basically, at least the principle of I agreed with. But I did think, man, it is asking someone to be really extroverted.
That is true.
And I'm not saying that I think they're right. It's just, they talk near the end, they talk about one of them going to the barber. His barber's like, I'm having a party. Why don't you come to my party? So he just goes and he's getting guys' phone numbers, and I thought, man, that's not easy to do.
No, and the strange thing too is, you remember when we talked about, I can't remember the certificate we gave out, but it was like the something ambassador, social ambassador. That's right. Kind of the same idea, but the people that are already doing that probably aren't listening to this book. But I do think if you don't have people like that, then the other guys aren't going to really know how to initiate, like maybe guys that are more introverted. So.
Well, I'll tell you at the end a little bit, like for me, what's worked, I feel like I have a mind trick that I've used on myself to make it easier. It's not super hard for me to go into a room and interact and be extroverted. It's kind of easy. I like doing it, but sometimes it's like I walked into a party once, like a work party where I knew one person at this company. What was St. Ed's at this university. And I walked in this party and I didn't see the person. I was like, ugh! And I actually turned around and walked out. But then stopped myself and turned, like, I'm sure people in the restaurant was like, what's that guy doing? And so I just turned right back around and walked back in and just kind of walked up to somebody. And then luckily the person I knew walked up too. And so I talked to her and then but anyway.
Yeah.
So I have a mind trick that I've used for me. That's been helpful to make me be the friend. I shouldn't put in quotes, but
yeah.
Mike, what did you like? What stood out to you the most?
I think the thing that stood out to me the most was them calling attention to the thought process that most of us go through when it comes to like initiating friendships, where we tend to assume certain things based off of stuff that I always get mad at my clients for doing, like, don't read body language and facial features, but that's the same thing that when I interact with someone, I'm like, oh, this is what they're thinking right now. And so just that reminder of like, no. And it's funny, as a teacher, I used to tell students all the time, right, when I was trying to get them to ask questions, one of the ways that I would do it is I would remind them, like, look, I've, been doing this long enough. If you have a question, there's 20 something of you, right? Or 30 something of you in this room. I promise at least 2 other people have the same kind of question.
Except for you, Carl.
Yeah. Carl, you're an idiot.
You ask weird questions.
And so I would try to get them like, so why don't you be the brave one who asks the question? But stop telling yourself that it's a dumb question that no one else is going to have. I promise someone else has it. Right. And so even though like I know that logic, when it comes to me and like interacting with friends, that logic has never applied for me. It's like, well, yeah, but they don't want to hang out with me. Yeah. Right. And so having them call out the fact that like, no, that's not true. That's simply not accurate. Like, it's the assumption that almost every dude makes, that I'm inconveniencing them. I'm pushing myself in, and they're like, that's just not what people think. And so hearing that over and over again for me was valuable. And I think for a lot of guys, is a very valuable thing to recognize. Like, your default setting is probably not right. In terms of what people are thinking. Now, you might be the rare exception who knows the guy that's like, I don't have time for you. I'm too important. But chances are you don't. So.
And that friend is the Christian Bale Batman.
That's right.
Is that Bat? Is that what Bat sounds like? You seen those? They're kind of old now. I don't know if this look like Bat Dad.
Yeah, like, that dude was so funny.
And he'd film himself and then yell, Jen, don't forget to wash my jammies. And she's always super annoyed at him.
I thought that guy was so funny.
He'd do it to his kid.
Yeah.
3 times.
No, I was going to say with that thought process too, it's like if it is true, then that's not the situation you want to be in anyway, and you'll find it out faster. But guaranteed there are a lot of guys sitting at home thinking, no one wants to hang out with me or whatever. Or maybe not even thinking that, but if they start to think about hanging out with somebody, that's the first thought. And I liked it. I liked how they tied it in by saying we're all probably thinking the same thing by ourselves.
Well, and that's, for me, that actually is one of my mind tricks. So when they said that, I was like, oh, that's what I do. At some point, at various points in my life, I've tried to adopt the idea that like probably most people in this room are actually like super nervous and feel awkward and wish they had somebody to talk to. So I'll be the guy who talks to them.
Yeah.
And I trick it in my brain to say, I'm being helpful. So it's not that way. It's not me going in. And then I can be genuinely interested in the person and want to make them feel more comfortable. So that way it's less about, and this goes back to things we talked about a few episodes ago about like, it pulls me out of my own head and puts me into somebody else's. Mm-hmm. So just remembering that, like, well, we all kind of have that, like we all have this thinking. I had a couple yesterday I was talking to, and they I haven't seen them in like 6 weeks or something. And they said, well, what's been going on for you? I was like, I don't know. It kind of feels like I just saw you guys. Like, I know a lot's happened, right? I was like, no, nothing's happened. I said, humans are about the same. Mm-hmm. And so I'm pretty much having the same session over and over 7 hours a day. So it's like, it all just becomes a blur of the same session, because most of us have the same kind of thoughts and the same kind of feelings. And most of us, like, I can tell client after client, like, I'll say, well, yeah, here's an example of how you did this, this, and this. And then they'll be like, well, no, here's all the evidence of why I'm not that. I'm like, the last person just said those exact same things to me. Like, they always have this evidence of why I'm the exception. It's like, probably not.
Yeah.
We can't all be the exception of the rule.
Mm-hmm.
Although sometimes there is. Mike, I've been meaning to talk to you about that.
Oh, man.
Matt and I were just talking about this, and I talked about this with my friend Tim too. Like, what if I was the stinky guy and I didn't know it, and no one's telling me I'm the stinky guy?
Yeah.
Like, I've worked with people, they're clearly clean, but they smell of mildew. It's like, am I that guy? And there was that period of time at Auburn where they
I feel like it's real weird that you're bringing this up after having just kind of made fun of me a little bit.
I know. Suddenly I transition over to stinky guy. Now's our moment. They're clean. You seem clean.
You seem clean, Mike, but there's a weird odor of mildew about you. Let's talk about how much laundry detergent and soap you use.
So back to the book, though, like I do think, it's kind of, they do some funny things in this book that we do too. Like, so I can't actually, I get annoyed at them. Like when they'd be like, trademark mandate. And I was like, we talked about it earlier. I was like, everybody calls it a mandate. We've made jokes about that forever. But also I do it on the, be like, and that's copyright, Rob, like.
That's outside of the content. Like for me, my struggle there was like, it wasn't the jokes they were making. It's how scripted it sounded.
Yeah.
It didn't feel authentic.
That's, I don't know if the podcast probably does feel a little more naturally bantered. But I mean, back to the content, because maybe it'd be different if I was reading it. Maybe it wouldn't be. I don't know. I don't know if maybe it was Audible only. Like only
it is Audible only.
That was the weird thing they kept saying. If you're listening to this audio, I'm like, of course I'm listening to the audio. Like
it's the only place you can get it.
Yeah.
But I do think one of the things too that I liked actually near the end of the book. What did they? I can't remember the things for it now, but basically they were saying it was talking about when you maintain relationships, because there's a lot of things to develop, and they spend the first.
Was this like the end of the book?
Nearing the end, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't make it that far. I was telling Mike,
we'll never get these guys on the episode.
Well, I got like halfway through.
We didn't finish your book,
and
I finished
the thing that I really appreciated at the beginning, all the nuts and bolts, all the how-tos, started to become like more and more diffuse, and seemed like I'm probably going to get basically the same information.
Yeah.
So that's where I stopped, but I don't know. Maybe I missed a gem at the end.
No, I don't know that I think it was, I think it's all in the similar vein, but it's the nature of any kind of self-help booky type thing is it always gets, okay, well, chapter 28 is going to be this, but in the context of if you're eating pasta, it's like, okay. But it just, I can't remember. It was like PCS or something. I can't remember. It was like that you need to make sure to maintain friendships that you have like these different kinds of contacts with them on a regular basis. It was like seriously, I don't know why I can't remember, but it was like you reach out via text, or something, and you actually have a phone call like once a month or something, and you actually make sure you see them in person once a quarter. And I like the idea actually of a phone call, like Beef does phone calls periodically. He'll just call me like, we haven't chatted in a while. I'm like, okay. Yeah. Or like I got a phone call scheduled today on the way home with one of my friends that with Hotard. And because he put me on his calendar every other month to make sure he was calling me. Yeah. And Beef just likes to do it because he just likes to chat forever. And I'm not a chat on the phone person. So I thought it was funny that one's like, I can do it for about 8 minutes. Then everyone's like, oh, I want 20, 25. It's like,
well, he is the restaurant table lingerer.
Yeah. Because I feel like I get this pressure in my head. That's like, what are we going to talk about after 5 minutes? Like it's going to turn into crickets in there. And then you're going to realize Rob's kind of boring. But so I that's what I thought it was kind of cool to say, well, look, if you're going to do this, you
schedule it being intentional.
You have to actually it's just like when people say like with their marriages or their other relationships, it's like, well, yeah, if you just assume it's always going to be good, it's not going to be good. Like you have to do things on purpose to make it good, to be deliberate, to change it up to something. And it's kind of like, oh, what?
No, it's related and unrelated.
Okay. I was just going to say, it's kind of like and I can't remember the sequence of this either, because apparently I never remember the specifics of things. I always just remember the gist. But there's that thing that a couple different people have talked about, lots of different people. I feel like for a minute it went around really hot around social media, but about like, you go on a date night, you have a date night once a week, you have a full day date once a month. You go on a weekend once a quarter, and you go on like a vacation with your spouse once every 7 months or something like
That's
that.
the 777 thing.
Okay.
Yeah,
we've talked about it on here.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of like, sometimes I'm like, I don't think I could go on a vacation every 7 months.
And it's a weird.
The sequencing of vacation is like, suddenly I'm vacationing in February, but but I just think the idea of like having something that triggers in your brain, hey, you should do this. So like my friend Austin, who puts me on his calendar. So it's like, oh yeah, I need to call. Even if it's like, I don't feel like I need to call right now, but I should, just because it maintains it. So I thought that was also like a helpful, like in general, I thought, again, the delivery maybe was a little hard for me too at times because it was maybe scripted banter, but I thought the message was solid. I don't know. I think it's helpful to have it all packaged up. I think we've talked about a lot of those same things on this show over time.
Yeah, I think they probably took their episodes, which might be a good thing for us to do and produce a scripted banter audio.
Oh,
but
that would diverge.
No, I think the intentional planning is important. The thing I was thinking of when you were talking is from my master's program, but we've talked about this before when it comes to effort in relationships and how it's like, if it's not authentic or spontaneous or heartfelt, then it doesn't count.
Yeah.
But everything else in our life runs on a calendar, and it's not that it's some meaningless thing that loses its value because it's on a calendar. It's almost the opposite. The fact that it's on a calendar communicates its importance. So the idea of work in a relationship, my master's chair would always quote like, Beatles got it wrong, man. You don't just need love. Like, relationships require work, right? And so it was like a relationship education program that we had to use for this research project, and it was done in Australia. I've told you about it before, but one of the ladies' names on the video was Keithia Wilson.
Oh,
and she had, like, this is a college professor, right?
Side ponytail
with a scrunchie, and then she talked out of that side of her mouth. So is this real weird? But the whole thing was self-directed change. So every time she said change, it was like, change. Like, yes, Keithia. But the idea that
it's perfect for all our Australian listeners.
Yeah, I was going to say, we just talked about that. Every other relationship, and this is where I liked that they highlighted, hey, male friendship is an extremely important part of your life. So don't assume that you don't need it. Don't assume that it's just going to happen. Treat it like, hopefully, the other relationships in your life. Hopefully you're treating your marriage this way too, and relationship with your kids and things like that. But make it, like you're saying, make it a scheduled, maintainable type of a thing where the idea, this is where the third place I think ties in, where it's like, we go here.
Yeah.
And we don't think about what are we going to do there, because it's already established. We have a phone call every other month, or we go, to this place and have lunch, or we play darts, or whatever it is. And then whatever happens, happens. But it's just dedicated time together. They did get into, I think, more specifics about once you're there, make sure you're having these types of conversations, like take the relationship a little bit deeper than just
eventually
jokes and
they moved into
that.
Which I actually thought was cool too, when they said, some people that they've talked with, they will actually have like scripted, like not scripted, but here's things I'm going to talk about with this person tonight.
Yeah.
Like, what are your opinions on this topic or this one? I thought, there's nothing wrong with that. Like,
well, I think especially if you're someone who is prone to anxiousness, right? Like if you're, for you, like you're worried about, well, what are we going to talk about after 5 minutes? All right, well, then think of some things that you could ask them about. And when you hit that 5-minute lull and it's like, you just bring that thing out, right? Like and again, like it's almost like putting the thing on the calendar, contrary to the idea that it's calendared, so they must not care about me that much. No, it's so important that it's calendared
Right.
No, this conversation is so important to me that I wanted to make sure that, we had things to talk about. Yeah. Like and so it's a lot of it is too, just kind of reframing how you choose to see it. Like, yeah, you could see it as, well, I mean, we had nothing to talk about.
Right.
Or you could see it as, no, I actually put thought in beforehand because I knew there were things I wanted to chat with them about.
Not from a place of anxiety.
Right.
That, as you were talking about the scripted kind of going in with it, right? Just having an idea of what you want to find out. I was just thinking of that Brian Regan bit that we played a long time ago where his wife was like, find out what's going on after the divorce. And he's like, when would that come up? Like, we're standing there golfing, like, hey, this looks about like 127 yards. You might want to use this iron and blah, blah, blah. Are you dating anyone?
Well, they actually they mentioned that too. Like, they come home and be like, well, did you talk about this? What's going on here? It's like, oh, I don't know. It didn't come up. You know, like, because that happens lots of times. It doesn't come up, sometimes it does and sometimes it doesn't. You know,
yeah. I was going to say we've talked about that quite a bit before. Like with guys, where women are often looking for that deep and meaningful conversation, it's not necessary for guys all the time.
Right.
Might be the activity.
Yeah, and I think with guys, like in this aspect, I think we're very similar to like when I work with teenagers. Where with teenagers, like I'll tell parents, yeah, a lot of our sessions are just shooting the breeze. And they're that so that when your kid has a crisis thing or a significant thing for them, I'm the one that they want to talk to. Like, I've had almost every teenage client I've worked with. At some point, the parent has expressed frustration about like, well, I mean, you guys like talking about anything? I'm like, well, yes. But then their kid goes through something and I get a phone call and they're like, they really want to talk to you. Do you have time before your next appointment? And I'm like, yeah, that's why we do it. That's why guys go and hang out and play golf, because at some point, yeah, it probably will come up, but not if I haven't put in the work to kind of maintain that relationship.
Yeah.
I do think it is funny that, that there's this inherent thing that they kind of address a little bit at times. It's like if you put effort into your relationship with another dude, you're probably gay. Like, they don't say it, but it's like they challenge that idea. That's like, that's what stops us from doing it. It's like, slow down, dude. I'm not into guys. Like, I don't want to go hang out with you. Like, it feels like I just wanted to go get something to eat. I didn't want to go by myself. Do you want to go get something to eat? Like, so I think it's funny. It's a little bit like saying, we'll be intentional about it, but you don't have to be anxious about it. Like, so it's like, yeah, you want to go, you want to go get something to eat. It's like, no, it's like, okay, cool. Like, don't read into it. There was some part where they talked about that too. It's like, you don't know what they're thinking. It's probably not you don't have to take it personal.
Yeah. It's another one of those things you can choose to, or you can choose not to.
I had a family I was working with, and I was talking to one of the kids, and we talked about doing some positive visualization. And the mom came back and told me, she's like, it worked like really well. She's like, I don't know if it was like placebo effect. And she said something, I kind of laughed, and I said, she's like, what? I was like, it's your brain. It's not, there's no placebo effect. He just changed what he was thinking about. Like, that is how the brain works. So it is kind of funny to say, like, well, our reality can be what we want it to be. Like, and this is what's so hard, because we get so used to thinking negative thoughts all the time, that when I work with clients and I'll say, well, someone told me a story yesterday and they're describing something. I said, but it's also just as possible that the reason they said this was because, this was going on, or this, or this, or this. I named off like 5 things. And they're like, yeah, but I mean, I have, and then they start detailing out all the evidence they have about why it's probably the worst one and why their life sucks. And it's like, wait, what about these other ones? Pick the good one. Pick the one that feels good. Same thing with hanging out with another. It's like, I don't know, it could be really fun. Could be you guys go hang out and you kind of don't have a lot to say in the moment, and all of a sudden something really weird happens. Like, that's why, like, when they're saying be open to the random or whatever they said, That's why, like, I think your drink store, like the people of the drink store, I keep going to
the
this
episode that
we're working on loosely. I don't go to Circle K very often by my house, but I do like their Diet Mountain Dew, so I go every once in a while to get it.
Yeah.
There's always this one lady working there, and she always lets me have my drink for free.
Nice.
And she'll kind of try to chat it up with me. I'm always like, yeah. So I asked her this and was like, so do you have like a second job? And she's like, yeah. Why? I was like, I don't know. I'm just wondering, like,
what do you do?
Yeah. Like, and kind of like, cause she nannies on the weekend. I was like, okay. Cause I was actually picturing like, what's it like to like, do you have to work this and then go work another job, or like, cause it's not like Circle K is paying a ton probably, but so just kind of opening up to like, well, what kind of random story could I tell? Because I got to know this lady behind the counter at Circle K.
Yeah.
Like Matt's lady with the, fancy mustard guy, or fancy hot dog guy. Is that what it was? Fancy hot dog?
Fancy mustard.
That's so good.
I didn't even do anything. It just splattered that way.
Sometimes you're a Renaissance man, dude. Fancy stuff just happens to you.
Like possums giving birth on my AC.
Really? Oh, that's right. You decided it wasn't giving birth, right?
She was carrying him in her pouch, but
why was she up?
Like awake?
Yeah. I thought they were nocturnal.
Yeah, I think
they are.
Because I saw her first. For listeners who don't know, my courtyard behind my office is like totally enclosed. But possums walk that gutter line at night.
Yeah.
So I think she must have climbed down during the night and then somehow could not figure out how to get back up.
Yeah.
Because my 9 o'clock session, we saw her like walking around down there and she looked pregnant. And then I started another session and heard some like crazy clawing noises and she was climbing up on the AC unit. And then all of a sudden these little babies start pouring out and she sat there all day, dude. I told you I built like these little ramps so she could get back up to the roof. Like, get out of here. Like, I tried to scoot her along with a broom. Dude, I think I just freaked her out. So she just stayed there. And then I came the next morning. She was gone. But my clients that day probably made eye contact with me for like a fourth of their sessions.
Oh, yeah.
Because they were so focused on the possum.
Oh, the other day. And then just start looking out the window.
Well, dude, people see squirrels out my window and they're like, there's squirrels out there. I'm like, so? But dude, I didn't think, like, I've seen mama possums. They have the possums just hang out on their back.
They did start doing that, but I think she can. I mean,
I was going to say, maybe she really did give birth.
No, they are like.
They're marsupials, but they usually, it's like and maybe she had just recently given birth because I think once.
And she's just chilling.
They go straight into the pouch for a period of time after that. Yeah. So.
Well, I was talking. I used to work with a lady that was
We're talking about possums. Anyway, go ahead.
Involved in possum rescue. And she tried to get me to promise her that if I ever came across a possum that had been hit on the side of the road, that I would go and feel in her pouch to make sure there were no babies in there. And I was like,
I need you to promise me on your dying breath.
I was like, I am not doing that. Like, dude,
here's the funny thing.
I'm not touching a roadkill possum on the off chance its babies didn't die with it. Sorry.
Dude, I will say this about possums. They're kind of like RAUSs.
Oh, I can't stand them.
And they're kind of oddly cute and horrifying at the same time. They're not cute.
There's nothing cute about them.
The babies are a little more attractive than the adults.
But when you see like the mom carrying the babies on their back, it's like, dude, that is adorable.
Yeah. No, it's not.
So Mike's out on possums.
No. Well, they are giant rats. That's all they are.
We do need to wrap this up because we have our third places to be.
That's right.
That's true.
That's right.
Not with hippies.
Never follow hippie
to a second location.
So I already said Matt gave his takeaway. I don't know, Mike, if you have one, but I will say just make sure spacemen. Actually, because I think you're right, Matt. One of the most powerful things is like, well, just be the person who does this.
Yeah.
And if you need to borrow my mind trick to do it, then I don't say it like it's mine. Lots of people do that. Like
trademark it, dude.
Trademark Rob. It's mine now.
I have a like for me, mine's similar. Like I like yours a little bit better than mine, but for mine, I think I spend all day talking to people. I know how to talk to people. I'm very good at it.
Yeah.
And so it's one of those things where it's like, oh, right. So why is it different here? Because it's like, how many people do I meet for the first time and make them feel welcome within a matter of, minutes? And it's like, yeah, I know how to do this. And so that tends to be my mind trick. I will say, like, if you decide to listen to this book, it is a fairly quick listen.
It's helpful, I think.
Yeah, even, not on double speed, or I listened on double speed, not 2.5. And it was still only, under 3 hours, I think.
Yeah.
And there were some things that I thought, yeah, I could see a handful of guys that I've worked with being like, no.
Yeah.
Like the way they talked about the mandate. Like we've all talked about mandates, but the way they talked about it, I was like, no, now you're making it sound like a romantic date and you've lost me. And I like...
Yeah, they needed to normalize it in a different way.
I'm the last guy that you are going to lose in a situation like that because I care. Like, I just don't worry about that kind of stuff. And I think, I know lots of guys who would be really uncomfortable with how you're choosing to talk about it.
Yeah.
But the principles of it, right? Like, focus less on if you listen to it, focus less on the delivery and more on the principles. Like, there is something to be said about, like, what Matt's takeaway is, which is, no, just be that guy.
Yeah.
If you want to go hang out with someone, make the invite. If they don't want to come, then they don't want to come. I will say, like, one of the things is I've pondered over the last few weeks, having read this book and whatever, like I've looked back and I thought, oh yeah, there are some guys that have tried to be friends with me.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't reciprocate enough. And so they're still friendly with me when we interact, but they don't.
Yeah, they talked about that too.
Yeah, they don't reach out to say, hey, let's go do this or that anymore. Because I gave no indication that I had any interest in it. And so they, like, okay, well, if he's not interested, then we won't keep inviting him. And it's, recognizing, well, that's one, understanding for myself, like, well, why wasn't I reciprocating? But again, it comes back to that idea of, okay, well, if I want to have that kind of relationship, then I have to be the guy who says, hey, let's do this. And if they say no, they say no. But, okay, I'm still going to do it and see where it goes.
Mm-hmm.
So
there you have it, spacemen. Be the friend. The book should be free on Audible for anybody. So Buddy System, I can't remember the author's names, but Caro is one of his last
Aaron Caro and Matt Ritter.
Aaron Caro.
Yeah, there we go. But we also, I think, need to pick our book for next time.
That's you.
Is it my turn?
Yeah.
I'm ready.
What do you got?
I've been waiting. We're going to read 10% Happier by Dan Harris.
No.
What?
No, we're not.
Why?
I'm just kidding, dude. I
was like, what is happening right now? Is this like your thing where like the show's too intense, you can't watch it? Like, it's a book about...
You're going to have people watch his panic attack on TV videos?
You can go look it up. He does a thing. He shows it. He showed it on like Nightline or something.
Yeah. Who's Dan Harris?
He was a news reporter who had a panic attack on live TV, though you can only barely tell. He was on, I don't know if it was Dateline or anyway, he's got, this book is great. To me, it's a very entertaining, easy way to approach mindfulness and meditation and not feel so clinical about it.
Mm-hmm. Well, he's
an entertaining reader. If you listen to it, it's him reading it and he's great.
You've gone ahead and ruined my book, Rob.
You were going to do that one?
No, I'm not sure what I was going to do. I did recently purchase a book it was a book about a guide to meditation and mindfulness written by, I don't know, I can't pronounce his name because whatever, but now we're doing this, so I don't need to.
Kabat-Zinn. Well, we could do both. Who knows? So
We'll see.
It could be a nice segue. So I guess that's it. Spaceman, get on reading and get on mindfulness. And
go on a mandate.
Come back next time and catch us on the Manspace. Who's your favorite possum? Beat it, doofus.